Apartment, night. The room is dim, the air thick with tension. The once loving home now feels like a prison, walls closing in with every bitter word spoken. YN7 sits on the cold wooden floor, her tiny hands resting on her lap, her blank eyes staring ahead, seeing nothing, yet feeling everything. Her small frame is stiff, bracing for the storm she knows is coming. Across the room, her adopted mother, once warm and kind, now glares at her with frustration. Her arms are crossed, her lips curled in disgust. Beside her, her adopted father, exhausted and resentful, downs another sip of alcohol, his patience wearing thin. Adopted mother. Mrs. Lee, scoffing, voice sharp, look at her. Just sitting there like a useless doll. She can't even see what a mess she's made. Adopted father. Mr. Lee, smirking bitterly, a mess. She is the mess. We should have never taken her in. YN flinches slightly but remains silent. Silence is safer. Words don't save her. Mrs. Lee scoffs, it was all fine when she was normal. When she could see. She was a sweet little girl then. Now she's nothing but a burden. Her words slice through the air like knives. YN presses her small hands against the fabric of her dress, gripping it tightly to stop herself from trembling. Mr. Lee, bitterly, we should have given her back the moment she lost her sight. Mrs. Lee, but no, we felt responsible. We thought we loved her. She lets out a humorless laugh. Mrs. Lee, voice rising, but what kind of love is this? Tending to a child who can't do anything for herself. A child who will always need help, who will always be, she stops herself, but the word lingers between them. A burden. YN bites her lip, her chest tightening. Mr. Lee, scoffing, we wasted all those years for what? To be stuck with this. She can't even pour herself a glass of water without knocking something over. He slams his glass down on the table, making YN flinch again. They never hit her outright, but their words do far worse. Mrs. Lee, do you know how embarrassing it is, taking care of a blind child? People used to praise us for adopting her. Now, they just pity us. Us, not her. She glares at YN as if she's expecting a response. But YN gives nothing. She just sits there, blind eyes staring past them, seeing nothing yet knowing everything. Mr. Lee, angrily, say something. Anything. Damn it, can you even understand what we're saying? Did you become deaf or what? Mrs. Lee, she doesn't speak because she knows it's true. She knows she's a mistake. That's why her parents threw away her. After 14 years. Kitchen, evening. YN 21 stands by the stove, her hands moving expertly as she stirs a pot of soup. The soft boiling sound fills the air, and the familiar scent of spices wraps around her. She doesn't need sight to cook. She's learned. She's spent years memorizing every ingredient, every movement because she refuses to be a burden. Behind her, Hannah 18 watches with a smirk. Hannah, snickering, you really think this makes a difference, YN? No matter what you do, they still wish you never existed. YN ignores her, stirring the soup calmly. She won't react. She knows Hannah wants a reaction. But Hannah isn't done. She glances at the flour jar on the counter. Her smirk widens. Hannah, fake sweetness, oh no. YN, be careful. With a deliberate shove, Hannah knocks the jar of flour onto the floor. The loud crash echoes, the white powder exploding everywhere. Hannah gasps dramatically. Hannah, yelling, Mom. Dad. YN made a mess again. YN's hands tighten around the spoon. She knows what's coming. Loud footsteps approach. Mr. Lee and Mrs. Lee storm into the kitchen, their faces already twisted in anger. Their eyes land on the mess, the shattered jar, the spilled flour, the scattered ingredients. And then, their cold, sharp gazes turn to YN. Mrs. Lee, furious, are you kidding me, YN? Again. Hannah, innocent, I tried to help her, Mom, but she threw the jar telling me to get lost from here. Their parent scoffs, stepping forward. Mr. Lee, disgusted, useless. Completely useless. You can't even stand in the kitchen without ruining everything. At least she asked if she will help, but you. Showing attitude. He suddenly grabs YN's wrist tight. Pain shoots up her arm, but she stays silent. She knows if she cries, it'll only get worse. Mrs. Lee, do you know how much money we've wasted on you? How much patience we've wasted? And for what? A blind, useless girl who can't do a single thing right. Hannah bites back a satisfied smirk. YN's breathing remains steady. She's heard this before. She's felt this before. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, something inside her shifts. YN, I am sorry, Mom. Mr. Lee, you think cooking makes you useful? Look at this mess. You'll never be enough, YN. Never. With that, he shoves her back. YN stumbles, her hands finding the counter just in time to steady herself. Mrs. Lee, keep your sorry to yourself. Clean it up, and don't expect dinner tonight. You don't deserve it. With that, they turn away. Hannah lingers, leaning close. Her voice drops to a cruel whisper. Hannah, mocking, you should have never been born. And then, she's gone, leaving YN alone in the mess. The flour coats her hands. The air is thick with silence. She doesn't cry, she doesn't break. Instead, she slowly kneels, feeling for the broken pieces. A grand, luxurious office dimly lit, lined with shelves of old books, a large mahogany desk in the center. The air is tense and heavy. Jungkook, 27 years old, sits in his chair, his jaw clenched, eyes sharp as he watches the older man in front of him. His father, the Mafia king, stands tall, exuding power and authority. A man who has ruled for decades. A man who expects obedience. Tonight, he's here for one reason. Mr. Jeon, firm, unwavering, it's time for you to get married, Jungkook. Jungkook. No, Mr. Jeon, it's not a request. Jungkook, of course it's not. And tell me, what exactly do I gain from this? What's the use? His father's eyes narrow. Mr. Jeon, you gain stability. A leader without a strong foundation is weak. And a wife. Jungkook, interrupting, annoyed, will not change a damn thing. His father glares. But Jungkook isn't done. I don't need a wife. I don't need some arranged, loveless marriage to keep my position intact. His father steps closer, voice dropping to something dangerous. Mr. Jeon, if you think that, then you are a fool. Jungkook's jaw tightens. Mr. Jeon, firm, you think ruling the Mafia is just about strength? Power? No, it's about legacy. It's about ensuring our bloodline remains untouchable. Jungkook laughs dryly. Jungkook, mocking, oh, so now it's about bloodline. I thought it was about who was ruthless enough to sit on that throne. Mr. Jeon, you cannot rule alone. A man without a family has nothing to lose. And a man with nothing to lose is reckless. Unstable. Jungkook, I have my men. I have control. I don't need a wife to prove anything. His father exhales sharply, losing patience. Mr. Jeon, voice cold as steel, then listen carefully, son. If you refuse to marry, he steps even closer, his presence looming. You are no longer eligible to take my place. Jungkook, you'd really strip me of my position over this. Mr. Jeon, calm, final, without a wife, you are not fit to rule. Silence. Jungkook, okay fine. Mr. Jeon, good, I will arrange it. He turns, walking toward the door. But before he leaves, he pauses. Without looking back, he delivers his final words. Mr. Jeon, soft, chilling, and Jungkook, don't make the mistake of thinking you can defy me. And then he walks out. Mr. Jeon, Jungkook's father, sits on the worn-out couch, his posture rigid, his expression unreadable. He is dressed in an impeccable black suit, a stark contrast to the dull surroundings. His mere presence makes the room feel smaller, suffocating. Across from him, In's adopted parents sit, nervous yet trying to appear composed. Hannah, 18, sits beside them, arms crossed, an expression of clear displeasure on her face. Mr. Jeon, calm, direct, I came with a proposal. I want your daughter to marry my son, Jungkook. Hannah's head snaps up, eyes widening in pure shock. Her parents exchange hesitant glances. A moment of stunned silence. Then, Hannah, scoffing, disgusted, are you joking? Mr. Jeon slowly turns his head toward her, his sharp gaze pinning her in place. Mr. Jeon, low, unwavering, I don't joke about business, or marriage. Hannah, angry, firm, then let me make this clear, I'm not interested. Her parents tense. I know who your son is. A ruthless, heartless man who kills without blinking. Everyone fears him. Why would I marry someone like that? Mr. Jeon's expression doesn't change. He studies her for a moment before speaking. Mr. Jeon, quiet, amused, so, you fear him? Hannah, of course I do, everyone does. Mr. Jeon, good, then you are not the right woman for him. Hannah looks away, relieved. Her parents relax, thinking the conversation is over. But then Mr. Jeon's gaze shifts. It lands on YN. She is sitting in the farthest corner, quiet and still. She doesn't react, doesn't even turn her head, but Mr. Jaeon notices her. Something in his expression changes. A flicker of calculation. He leans forward, his voice calm yet deliberate. Mr. Jaeon, then what about her? Mrs. Lee. Shocked, scoffing, YN. Are you serious? Mr. Jaeon doesn't blink. Mrs. Lee laughing bitterly, she is blind. She is useless. What would your son do with someone like her? YN flinches, just slightly. But she says nothing. Mr. Jaeon, that's not for you to decide. Mr. Lee. Sir, with all due respect, why would you want her? Mrs. Lee. Desperate, exasperated, she can't even see. She can't help your son in anything. She will be a burden to him, just like she is to us. Mr. Jaeon, you speak so cruelly about your own daughter. Her parents say nothing. Mr. Jaeon shakes his head. Let me make this clear. I do not care if she is blind. She will be my daughter-in-law. Hannah's mouth drop opens. Mr. Lee, so this is a mistake. Jungkook will not accept this. He will never. Mr. Jaeon, I know my son better than you. The room is grand, decorated in shades of gold and ivory, yet it feels suffocating. A mirror stands tall, reflecting the image of a bride YN. Dressed in an exquisite wedding gown, her fingers tremble slightly as she adjusts the veil. Her blind eyes, though unseeing, hold a quiet strength. The door clicks open. A familiar voice, dripping with venom, cuts through the silence. Hannah, mocking, amused. Well. The blind bride all dressed up. YN doesn't react immediately. She recognizes that tone. Hannah. Smirking, taunting. At least now, we can finally stay in peace. YN's hands tighten into fists over her gown. You have no idea how tired we were. Having you in that house. It was exhausting, you know. All these years, you tried so hard, didn't you? Cooking, cleaning, pretending to be useful, but no matter what you did, you were still a burden. Silence. Hannah. But now, you're someone else's problem. You must be scared, right? I mean, it's Jungkook. YN flinches. Hannah notices. God, you must be terrified. Didn't you hear the rumor? He's a monster. A psycho. People beg for their lives in front of him. And you're nothing but a weak, useless, blind girl. YN. Then let's see. Let's see if the monster breaks me first, or if I survive him like I survived you. Silence. Hannah's smirk drops. For the first time her taunts fail. YN remains still, unshaken. With an irritated scoff, Hannah steps and goes out. Wedding hall, evening. The grand hall is silent, filled with an air of anticipation. Soft golden lights cast a warm glow over the extravagant decor. Guests watch in quiet admiration. At the end of the aisle, dressed in an elegant black suit, stands Jungkook. His face is unreadable, cold his usual mask. But then the doors slowly open. A hush falls over the hall. And Jungkook's breath catches. His pav. There she is. Dressed in white, delicate as a dream, YN walks forward. Her steps are slow, guided by the man beside her, her adoptive father. Her blind eyes, though unseeing, hold a quiet grace. Jungkook had expected nothing, but this is breathtaking. For a second, just a second, his heart forgets to beat. She is more beautiful than he could have ever imagined. More than words could ever describe. His fingers twitch, a foreign emotion spreading through his chest. His father had called her beautiful. But he hadn't been prepared for this. Groom's side. The Mafia men watch curiously, exchanging glances. They've never seen their ruthless leader like this. So still. So captivated. Jungkook doesn't realize he's staring. Doesn't realize the way his jaw tightens, the way his breath grows uneven. She reaches him. Her father stops, places her hand in his. Her fingers are small, trembling slightly. Jungkook's hand instinctively tightens around hers. He flinches just a little. And then he speaks. Jungkook. Soft, almost breathless. You're beautiful. YN's head lifts. She wasn't expecting that. She wasn't expecting kindness. She doesn't reply. But Jungkook sees the way her lips part slightly, the way her grip in his hand stiffens like she doesn't believe it. Like no one's ever told her that before. Something twists in his chest. But the moment is short-lived. The officiant clears his throat, and the ceremony begins. Officiant, Jungkook, do you take YN to be your lawfully wedded wife? Jungkook, I do. Officiant, and do you, YN, take Jungkook to be your lawfully wedded husband? YN, I do. The rings are exchanged. The vows are spoken, and just like that they are bound together. The officiant smiles. Officiant, you may now kiss the bride. A hush falls. Jungkook's throat tightens. His father watches from the front row, expectant. YN stands still, waiting. She doesn't tremble, doesn't shrink. Jungkook takes a slow breath. Then he leans in. BBUT at the last second he stops. His lips barely graze her forehead instead. A silent vow only he understands. When he pulls back, their hands are still linked. The guests applaud, but all Jungkook can hear is the rapid beating of his own heart. Jungkook's mansion, master bedroom, night. The room is vast, cold, and unfamiliar. The large bed sits untouched, the silk sheets perfectly pressed. YN stands near the center, still clad in her wedding dress, fingers lightly grazing the fabric. Jungkook watches her from the doorframe, arms crossed. He should say something, but for the first time in a long time words fail him. Jungkook, quietly, almost to himself, you're really beautiful. YN she turns slightly at the sound of his voice. A small, sad smile tugs at her lips. Then YN, I wouldn't know. Jungkook's brows knit. She tilts her head, as if sensing his confusion. Her hands rise, pressing lightly against her face. Her fingers trace the curve of her cheek, the bridge of her nose, the shape of her lips. YN. Soft, matter of fact, I've never seen myself in a mirror. Jungkook's breath hitches. He forgets. For a moment, he had forgotten. That she would never see the way her skin glowed under the moonlight. Never see the way her lips parted in thought. Never see the way he looked at her now. His throat feels tight. She laughs, a small, hollow sound. YN. Funny, isn't it? People tell me things like that sometimes. That I look nice, that I'm beautiful. But all I have are their words. Her voice softens. Sometimes, I wonder if they say it out of pity. Jungkook's chest clenches. Something inside him burns an unfamiliar frustration. He takes a step closer. Jungkook. Serious, firm, it's not out of pity. She blinks. Jungkook exhales, running a hand through his hair. He doesn't know why this bothers him so much. Doesn't know why the thought of her doubting her own beauty feels so wrong. Jungkook. You are beautiful. YN tilts her head slightly. YN, how do you know? Jungkook. Because I see you. The dim glow of the bedside lamp casts long shadows across the room. YN sits on the edge of the massive bed, fingers nervously clutching the fabric of her dress. Jungkook stands near the window, hands in his pockets, staring out at the city lights. A heavy silence hangs between them. Finally, he turns. Jungkook. Soft, careful, new. She lifts her head slightly. Do you want to do the wedding night? YN stays silent for a long moment and then, YN, I am not confident about my body. She exhales shakily, lowering her head. YN, I don't know how I look. I don't know if I look good enough for you. Jungkook blinks. Something inside him twists a sharp, unfamiliar ache. He walks toward her slowly. Then, kneeling in front of her, he lifts her hands from the fabric of her dress. His grip is warm, firm. Jungkook. new. You can think I'm crazy, but I lost my heart the moment I saw you. YN's breath stutters. Her hands twitch in his grip. Jungkook. You were walking down that aisle, and for the first time in my life, I didn't know how to breathe. YN's lips part. Jungkook leans closer, not in a way that is overwhelming. Not in a way that is demanding. But in a way that tells her that he means every word. Jungkook. You are beautiful, YN, and if you're not ready I will wait. Master bedroom, morning. The morning light filters through the sheer curtains, casting a golden glow over the room. The air is warm, scented with faint traces of their passion from the night before. Jungkook stirs first. He blinks, adjusting to the sight beside him. YN, still fast asleep, curled up against his chest, her breath slow and even. A slow, lazy smile spreads across Jungkook's face. His arms, still wrapped around her. He leans down, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead before whispering against her skin. Jungkook. Soft, teasing, hey, beautiful, wake up. YN stirs, her brows furrowing slightly at the sudden warmth of his voice. She whimpers softly, shifting against him, her body still sore from the night before. Jungkook chuckles, brushing his fingers through her hair. Come on, princess, let's give something to your stomach. You must be starving. YN slowly opens her eyes, her face still buried against his bare chest. She tries to move, but the moment she attempts to sit up, a sharp ache spreads through her legs. Her breath hitches, and she winces. Jungkook immediately notices. His teasing expression softens, turning into concern. He watches as she tries again, only for her legs to feel too heavy, her muscles too sore. YN presses her lips together, embarrassed. YN. Soft, hesitant, I can't move properly. Jungkook, softly chuckling, sorry, princess. YN pouts, her face turning warm. Jungkook tilts his head, eyes full of amusement but also a trace of guilt. Jungkook. It was my first time too, so I guess I couldn't control myself. YN's face heats up even more. She buries her face in her hands, groaning. Jungkook laughs, leaning down to kiss her fingertips before gently pulling her hands away from her face. Jungkook. Whispering, don't be shy now, baby. It's my fault, so let me take care of you. Before YN can protest, Jungkook effortlessly scoops her into his arms. She gasps, clutching onto his shoulders, but he just grins, carrying her towards the bathroom.
YN. Whining Jungkook. I can bathe myself. Jungkook. Raising a brow with those wobbly legs. I don't think so, princess. YN pouts again, and Jungkook just laughs, his heart too full, too warm. And as the warm water cascades over them, his arms never leave her. Just like he never will. Grand ballroom, night. The golden glow of chandeliers bathes the ballroom in an air of luxury, guests dressed in their finest attire, laughter and clinking glasses filling the space. At the very center of attention, Jungkook stands tall beside YN, his hand resting possessively on the small of her back. YN, in an exquisitely crafted silk gown, looks like something out of a dream, elegance personified. Jungkook can't take his eyes off her. Jungkook. You're breathtaking tonight, princess. If I wasn't already your husband, I'd be fighting every man in this room just to have you. YN's lips twitch into a soft smile, her cheeks warming at his words. And then a voice she wished she would never hear again cuts through the air. Hannah. Oh. YN, this is shocking. Seeing you here, all dressed up like this, it's funny, really. Smirking, I mean, who would have thought that a blind, useless little girl like you would end up here? With him. Jungkook moves in an instant. His grip on YN's waist tightens, pulling her even closer to his side, his expression a storm of restrained fury. His protectiveness is unmistakable. Hannah feels it like a slap to the face. Jungkook looks at Hannah as if she's nothing. And then, without sparing her another glance, he turns back to YN. His entire focus is on his wife, not on the party, not on the guests, and definitely not on Hannah. Jungkook. Low, gentle, you must be tired, princess. Do you want to sit down? Or should I just carry you? YN, oblivious to the storm brewing in Hannah's eyes, nods softly. Jungkook immediately guides her with care, his touch so deliberate, so reverent, that it makes every woman in the room envious. But no one is more envious than Hannah. She watches, her chest tight with anger, as Jungkook pulls out a chair for YN, helps her sit, and then kneels beside her like a devoted lover. Hannah. Stiff, forced laugh. Wow. You're treating her like she's some fragile doll. I mean, really, is this necessary? Jungkook finally looks at her, but his gaze is sharp, unamused, and deadly. Jungkook. Cold, dismissive, you're still here. He points, you go there and ask guards, they will show you the exit. He turns back to YN, are you hungry, love? I'll bring you something myself. She watches as Jungkook personally picks out food for YN, as he helps her take small bites, as he wipes the corner of her lips with his thumb, his gaze filled with nothing but pure adoration. Hannah can't take it anymore. She turns on her heel and storms away, but before she disappears into the crowd, she hears Jungkook murmur one last thing to YN. Jungkook, I don't care how many people are in this room. You are the only one I see, princess. And for the first time in her life, Hannah regrets saying no to marry Jungkook. Hannah's bedroom. She stands in front of the mirror, hands gripping the edge of the vanity so hard that her knuckles turn white. Her eyes, once filled with smug satisfaction, now burn with hatred and jealousy. She sees her own reflection, but all she can think about is YN. Hannah. Scoffing, low, how did this happen? She shakes her head, laughing bitterly. Hannah. All my life, I watched her be a burden. A useless, weak, pathetic thing that no one wanted. Smirking, and now she gets to live like a queen. With him. She slams her hand down on the vanity, knocking over a few perfume bottles. The sound echoes in the room, but she doesn't care. No, this isn't over. She doesn't deserve him. Her lips curl into a slow, dangerous smirk. Jungkook is mine. He will be mine. Voice turning dark, and I will snatch him away from her. No matter what it takes. That B*TCH doesn't deserve happiness.
Bedroom night. YN sits on the bed, running her fingers over the embroidered patterns of the bedsheet. Jungkook watches her, his gaze tender but filled with an unspoken desire hope. He takes a deep breath before finally breaking the silence. Jungkook. Softly, YN. I want to ask you something. Will you consider taking treatment for your eyes? YN's fingers slightly tense in his grip. The air shifts. A small, sad smile forms on her lips, as if she's heard this question 1,000 times before. YN. Softly, there is no treatment that can bring my sight back, Jungkook. His heart tightens at her words, but he refuses to accept them. Jungkook. But technology has advanced. There are new treatments, surgeries, there has to be something. YN shakes her head. She knows he means well, but she's already made peace with this part of her life. YN. Hope is beautiful, but sometimes, hope can also be cruel. Pauses. I've lived in darkness for years, Jungkook. And I've learned to find light in other ways. Jungkook. But what if there is a way? What if something works? YN reaches out, her gentle hands cupping his face. She smiles softly, her touch calming his storm. YN. Whispering, then I'll open my eyes, and the first thing I'll want to see is you. He grips her hands, bringing them to his lips, kissing them with desperation. Jungkook. Softly, but determined, I won't lose hope, YN. Not for you. She sighs, her heart aching at his stubbornness. Jungkook doesn't let go. He presses his forehead against hers, whispering into the silence, I will find a way, even if I have to search the whole world. YN doesn't reply. Because deep down, a small part of her wishes he's right. Hospital room, day. The sterile scent of antiseptics lingers in the air as YN sits on the examination chair, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Jungkook stands beside her, his grip firm on her shoulder, a silent reassurance. The doctor flips through the medical reports, adjusting his glasses. He hums thoughtfully, skimming through the details before looking up. Doctor. Casually, well, this is quite surprising. Jungkook tenses. His grip on YN's shoulders slightly tightens. Jungkook. What do you mean? The doctor sets the file aside and leans forward. Doctor, Mrs. Jeon, your condition, it's not as irreversible as you believe. YN's breath catches in her throat. She flinches slightly. Jungkook's eyes widen. YN. Stammering, what do you mean? The doctor offers a small, reassuring smile. Doctor, the damage to your optic nerves is significant, but not beyond repair. With the right procedure, a single surgery can restore your eyesight. Silence. The room suddenly feels too small. YN grips her dress, her fingers trembling. She swallows hard. YN. Barely a whisper, surgery. My eyesight, can, come back. Jungkook stares at the doctor in disbelief. His heart pounds against his ribs, his mind racing. Jungkook. Tightly, you mean to say, all this time, she could have been cured? The doctor nods. Doctor. I assume she was never given a proper consultation after the accident. YN's lips part, but no words come out. Her chest tightens. She remembers the years of suffering, the words drilled into her mind, you're blind. You're useless. You will never see, again. She was made to believe there was no hope. She never even questioned it. Her adopted parents never tried. They never told her there was a chance. Jungkook's jaw clenches. His fingers curl into fists. There's a rage bubbling inside him, a storm. He slowly turns to YN, but she isn't speaking. She looks lost. YN, whispering all this time. Her voice cracks. She suddenly feels small, like a child, like the 7-year-old girl who was told she was a burden. Jungkook crouches in front of her, grabbing her hands. His voice is firm, but gentle. Jungkook. Softly, YN, look at me. She turns toward him instinctively, though she still sees nothing but darkness. He presses her hands to his chest. Jungkook. Don't think about the past. Don't think about what they did to you. Pauses, voice filled with hope. Think about it now. Think about the future. You can see again, YN. You just have to say yes. YN shivers. Her heart is screaming. 1,000 emotions flood her at once: shock, anger, fear, but also something dangerous. Hope. Her lips tremble as she whispers, YN, I don't know what to feel. Jungkook lifts her hands, pressing a soft kiss against her knuckles. Jungkook. Whispering, then let me feel it for you. Jungkook's car. Night. The ride home is quiet. Too quiet. Jungkook's hands are gripping the steering wheel, his jaw set tight. His eyes flicker to YN, who sits beside him, lost in thought. Her fingers play with the hem of her dress, twisting the fabric. The weight of the doctor's words still lingers in the air. She finally speaks, her voice small, almost fragile, YN, Jungkook. Jungkook immediately looks at her. Jungkook. She swallows, her fingers tightening around the fabric in her lap. YN. After my accident, they took me to so many hospitals. So many doctors looked at me. Pauses, voice trembling, but every single one of them said my eyesight would never come back. Jungkook's grip on the wheel tightens. His knuckles turn white. YN. Softly, confused, but now, after all these years, this doctor said it can be fixed. With just one surgery. YN. Whispering, Jungkook, were they lying to me? Jungkook's jaw clenches. YN's voice is shaking now. Her emotions, ones she had buried for so long, begin to surface. Or did they just think spending money on me was a waste? Jungkook. No, YN, it will never be a waste. YN, but then why they? Jungkook. Because they never deserved you. Jungkook. Because they didn't love you the way they should have. Pauses, voice gentler, because they were too blind to see how precious you are. YN's lips part, but no words come out. Her heart feels too full, too heavy. Her entire life, she was told she was a burden. And now, for the first time, someone is telling her she was never the problem. Jungkook takes a deep breath, then reaches over. His hand finds hers. His grip is warm, firm, and grounding. Jungkook. You deserve to see the world, YN. You deserve to live without limits. And I swear, I will do everything to give you that. YN blinks rapidly, tears burning in her eyes. Hospital room, pre-surgery. The hospital room is cold. The scent of antiseptic fills the air. YN sits on the hospital bed, dressed in a light blue hospital gown. Her hands clutch the thin fabric of the sheets, her fingers trembling. She can't see the room, but she feels everything, the weight of the moment, the fear pressing against her chest. Jungkook is beside her, his warm hand covering hers. He can feel the slight tremors in her fingers, how tightly she's holding on. She's scared, more than scared, terrified. YN. Jungkook. Jungkook. I'm right here. Her lips quiver. She tries to be strong, tries to steady herself, but a choked sob escapes before she can stop it. And suddenly she throws her arms around him, burying her face into his chest. Her small frame trembles against his. YN. I'm scared, I'm so scared. Jungkook feels his heart twist painfully. His strong arms wrap around her immediately, pulling her close. He strokes her hair, soft and slow, trying to calm her down. Jungkook, whispering, it's okay, princess. I'm here. Nothing will happen to you, I promise. She shakes her head against his chest, her sobs muffled. YN. What if? What if something goes wrong? Voice breaking, what if I wake up and still can't see? Or what if I don't wake up at all? Jungkook pulls away just enough to cup her face in his hands. He tilts her head up, his thumb wiping away her falling tears. Jungkook. Soft, firm, you will wake up. YN. Pauses, voice thick with emotion, and when you do, I'll be right here. Waiting for you. He leans in, pressing a lingering kiss to her forehead. His lips stay there for a few moments, soft, warm, comforting. He pulls back slightly, their foreheads touching. Hospital room, after 2 weeks. The room is silent, too silent. YN sits on the hospital bed, her hands clenched in her lap. Her breath is uneven, her chest rising and falling quickly. Jungkook is beside her, gripping her hand, his thumb rubbing soft circles against her skin. The doctor takes a deep breath. Doctor. I will now remove the bandages. But remember, your eyes might take time to adjust. The light may feel too strong at first, but don't panic, okay? Nods slowly, but her fingers tighten around Jungkook's. She feels Jungkook shift beside her. Then, his voice soft, gentle, reassuring. Jungkook. Princess, breathe. She lets out a shaky breath. Jungkook brings her hand to his lips, pressing a lingering kiss against her knuckles. Jungkook. I'm right here. No matter what happens, I won't let go of your hand. You trust me, don't you? Swallows. She does. More than anything. She nods. The doctor starts to remove the bandages, layer by layer. Her heart pounds louder and louder. Finally the last piece is taken off. Doctor. Now, slowly, try to open your eyes. Hesitates. And then she does. At first, everything is blurry. Shapes, colors, shadows all mixing together into an overwhelming mess. She blinks. Once. Twice. The blur begins to clear. And then she sees him. Jungkook. The first person she has seen in years. And God, he is breathtaking. Jungkook. Jungkook lets out a breath. And then a single tear falls from his eye. Sees it. For the first time, she sees his emotions. His pain, his love, his relief, everything. Her chest tightens. She bursts into tears. Jungkook laughs softly through his own tears. Jungkook. Voice shaking, you can see me. Nods, crying harder. I can see you. Jungkook lets out a choked laugh. And suddenly he can't hold himself back anymore. He pulls her into his arms. Sobs against his chest. Her hands reach up hesitant, shaky. She cups his face. Jungkook leans into her touch. She runs her fingers over his cheeks, his nose, his lips, finally seeing what she has only ever felt before. Her voice is barely above a whisper. You're so handsome. Jungkook laughs through his tears. He pulls back slightly, brushing strands of hair away from her face. Jungkook. And you, princess, you are so beautiful. I swear I will never let you live in the darkness again. Sniffles. She laughs and cries at the same time. Bedroom, night. The room is dimly lit, the soft golden glow of the bedside lamp casting gentle shadows on the walls. Stands in front of the full-length mirror, staring at her reflection. Her fingers lightly touch the surface, as if trying to recognize the person staring back at her. She tilts her head slightly, deep in thought. Behind her, the sound of soft footsteps. A moment later, warm arms wrap around her waist. Jungkook back hugs her, resting his chin on her shoulder. Jungkook. What are you thinking, princess? Jungkook, do you think I am beautiful? Jungkook blinks. His arms tighten around her. He frowns, sensing the uncertainty in her voice. Jungkook. What kind of question is that? I don't know what a beautiful person looks like. For so long, I only imagined faces. I could only feel people's features, but I never really knew what beauty was. She swallows hard. Her voice is small, uncertain. Now that I can see, I keep wondering, what if I'm not beautiful? What if people just said that to make me feel better? Jungkook turns her around gently, making her face him. He tilts her chin up, forcing her to meet his gaze. His voice is firm, but tender. Jungkook, do you want to see a beautiful woman? Nods slowly. Jungkook turns her back to face the mirror again. This time, he lifts his hand and points directly at her reflection. His voice is gentle, sincere, full of love. Jungkook. There she is. The most beautiful woman I have ever seen. N's breath catches. Jungkook's gaze never leaves her reflection as he continues. Jungkook. Her eyes so pretty and full of emotion. They hold the entire universe in them. He gently brushes her hair aside, her lips soft, cherry red, always trembling when she's nervous. He traces a finger down her jawline, her face delicate, breathtaking. I bet there's no one in this world more beautiful than her. She hesitates. Her voice drops to a whisper. What about Hanan? Jungkook blinks then scoffs. A slow, amused smirk plays on his lips. Jungkook. Hanan. He shakes his head, chuckling softly. If we're talking about beauty, she wouldn't even get 1 point. N's eyes widen slightly. Jungkook leans closer, his lips brushing against her ear. His voice is low, teasing. Jungkook. Trust me, princess. No one could ever compare to you. YN's heart flutters. She stares at her reflection again, this time, with softer eyes. For the first time, she sees herself through his eyes. The warm aroma of tea and snacks lingers in the air as YN's adopted parents sit on the luxurious couch, chatting with Jungkook's father. YN and Jungkook sit side by side, their hands discreetly intertwined under the table. Across from them, Hanan sits with an almost smug expression, watching the couple with hidden disdain. Her mother smiles warmly and hands over a golden envelope. Mrs. Lee, Mr. Jeon, we came to personally invite you all to Hanan's engagement next week. It would mean a lot if you and your family could attend. Mr. Jeon nods politely, taking the envelope. Mr. Jeon, of course, we will be there. Jungkook's grip tightens around YN's hand under the table, seeing them sitting like proud of something, and she subtly strokes his fingers to calm him. Hanan, sitting across from them, smirks before turning to YN with a mocking tone. Hannah, YN, you must come too. Even though you can't see the decorations or my beautiful ring, you can still hear everyone talking about how stunning all look. YN keeps her expression neutral, but inside, she fights the urge to roll her eyes. Before she can respond, Jungkook stands up abruptly. Jungkook, we should bring out some refreshments. YN, come help me in the kitchen. YN nods, standing up gracefully. Hannah watches them curiously, but no one notices the flicker of suspicion in her eyes. The kitchen is warm, filled with the soft clinking of porcelain as YN and Jungkook prepare tea and snacks for the guests. Jungkook, standing behind YN, sneaks his arms around her waist, pulling her back against his chest. Jungkook, whispering, you smell so sweet. Like honey and jasmine. YN laughs softly, trying to pry his hands off her. YN, Jungkook, let me go. Dad is waiting for the tea. Jungkook grins, tightening his hold. Jungkook, he can wait. I want to hold my wife for a little longer. YN turns in his arms, placing a finger on his lips. YN, behave Mr. Jeon. Jungkook pouts, but before he can respond the kitchen door swings open. Hanan steps inside, her eyes immediately land on them. Jungkook's arms still wrapped around YN. Something dark flickers in her gaze. She slowly walks toward him, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Hannah, hey Jungkook, can we have a talk? Jungkook, no. Hannah steps closer to Jungkook but Jungkook moves away. Hannah reaches him out, touching his arm. Jungkook, angrily, don't touch me. Hanan, this is your last warning. Hanan's eyes darken, she suddenly gasps loudly, stumbling backward as if Jungkook just shoved her. Her eyes fill with fake tears as she clutches her chest, breathing shakily. She stares at YN, ensuring she is hearing. Then she screams, not knowing YN could watch everything that she is doing right now. Hannah, loudly. Jungkook, stop, please don't do this. Jungkook freezes. YN's eyes widen. Hannah stumbles further back, breathing heavily, pretending as if she is being cornered. Hannah, sobbing. Jungkook, I know you want me. But you can't do this. Not here, not in your own house, where YN could hear. Jungkook, low, dangerous, you're pathetic. Hannah. Hanan flinches, eyes flickering with fear. But she quickly forces another fake sob, shaking her head. Hannah, why are you acting like this? Jungkook, you were always so sweet to me. I know you still feel something, but not now. YN is here. YN, he is touching me badly. Say something. Jungkook's jaw tightens, his hands clench into fists. But he stays calm because he knows YN is watching everything. YN, get the hell out of this kitchen, Hannah, before I throw knives on your face. Hannah, you don't trust me, right? Wait. I will show this to everyone. Hannah swallows thickly before turning on her heel and storming out. The kitchen door slams shut. Jungkook exhales deeply, rubbing his temples. YN leans against the counter, crossing her arms. She tilts her head toward Jungkook. YN, you okay? Jungkook groans. Jungkook, why do women like her exist? YN laughs softly. She steps forward, wrapping her arms around his waist. Jungkook looks down at her, sighing. Then, he buries his face in her neck, inhaling deeply. Jungkook, you smell better than all the stress she just gave me. The tension in the air is thick. Hannah stands in the center, still dramatically sobbing. Her parents sit beside her, their faces twisted with anger. Mr. Jeon remains calm, sipping his tea, watching the scene unfold with mild amusement. Jungkook stands beside YN, his jaw tight, his patience wearing thin. Hanan, still playing the innocent victim, sniffles loudly. Hannah, whimpering, I don't know why he did that to me. I was just getting water, and he grabbed me. Her parents gasp. Mrs. Lee, why and how can your husband do that? Aren't you satisfying him? How can he? She turns to Mr. Jeon. Mr. Jeon, how can your son do that? Is that how you taught him to behave? It's disgusting. YN steps forward, her expression turning cold. YN, I dare you to accuse my husband. Mrs. Lee. Mrs. Lee, YN, that's not a way to speak to your mother. YN, correct yourself, adopted mother. YN, voice rising, let's be honest, shall we? You never took me to the right hospitals because you didn't want to spend money on me. You convinced me I'd never see again because, to you, I wasn't worth the effort. That's the truth, isn't it? Silence. Her adopted parents avoid her gaze. You hesitated to spend a single penny on me, but look how fast you threw money at Hannah when she wanted something. Hannah tenses. Her parents shift uncomfortably. Tell me, Mom, how much did you spend on Hannah's cosmetic treatments? Her designer clothes? Her unnecessary vacations? YN. Spending on Hannah was an investment, but spending on me. That was just a waste, wasn't it? Her adopted father glares. YN's adopted father. Angry, you're being ungrateful. YN laughs. YN. Ungrateful. For what? For years of being treated like I was worthless. If that's gratitude, I'd rather be ungrateful. YN. Turning towards Hannah, you know, Hannah, every single time you looked at me, you never forgot to remind me how ugly I was. How disgusting I looked. You made sure I believed it. Hannah. Scoffing, well, it's not my fault you're actually ugly. If you had eyes you would only say that. YN. Cutting her off, voice firm, shut up. Everyone freezes. In's adopted parents gasp. Her father starts to stand up, but Mr. Jeon raises a hand, stopping him. Jungkook smirks, folding his arms, watching his wife completely destroy Hannah. YN tilts her head, a smirk playing on her lips. YN, you always wanted me to think I was nothing. You wanted me to hate myself. And for years, I did. YN, but then, something happened. She smiles slightly. Hannah narrows her eyes, suspicious. YN, for the first time in my life, I saw my own face. Hannah's eyes widen, her parents stiffen, her adopted mother looks nervous. YN takes another step forward, her voice calm but laced with power. YN, and you know what? I didn't know what beautiful was supposed to look like. I didn't know if my face fit the standard. But after seeing you standing here, acting like this. She tilts her head mockingly, eyes shining with amusement. I finally understand what beauty really is. And I am beautiful. Hannah's mouth drops open in shock. YN chuckles. YN, in fact, I'm better than you. Better than the plastic mask you have on your face. Hannah gasps, hands flying to her face. Hannah, offended, how dare you? YN, cutting her off, voice sharp and about being disgusting, she steps even closer, her tone colder. YN, you know what's actually disgusting? Hannah swallows hard, suddenly uncomfortable. YN smirks. YN, it's how you push yourself on a married man, knowing very well he doesn't want you. Hannah's cheeks burn. Hannah's parents look at her in horror. Jungkook raises an eyebrow, amused. YN continues mercilessly. YN, it's how you act like the victim when you're the one trying to ruin someone's marriage. Hannah grits her teeth. It's how you constantly crave attention, throwing tantrums just so people will look at you. That, Hannah, is disgusting. Hannah looks around, realizing no one is defending her anymore. Even her own parents avoid eye contact. YN lets out a soft sigh, then looks at Jungkook. She smiles. YN, you know, I'm really proud I married this man. Jungkook softens, looking at her with love. Hannah glares at them both. YN, he taught me how to deal with people like you. How to stand up for myself. How to not let disgusting people get under my skin. Hannah breathes heavily, fists clenched. YN tilts her head slightly. YN, but honestly, I've had enough. She gestures toward the door. Please get out. Mr. Jeon raises an eyebrow, sipping his tea. Mr. Jeon, that was satisfying. Jungkook leans close to YN, whispering. Jungkook, I love it when you're like this. Hannah huffs and storms out. The door slams shut behind them. Silence settles in the room. YN lets out a deep breath, feeling lighter. Jungkook wraps an arm around her waist, pulling her close. Jungkook, softly, you did amazing, my love. YN smiles, leaning into him. YN, I finally said everything I needed to. Jungkook and Mr. Jeon, we are proud of you. Hannah and her parents walk out of the main door, fuming. The cold air does nothing to cool their anger. Hannah, scoffing, did you see how she spoke to me? That blind little. Before she can finish, a group of men in black suits step out of the shadows. The bodyguards move swiftly, surrounding them before they can react. Hannah's mother gasps, stepping back in fear. Hannah's father glares. Mr. Lee, angrily, what is the meaning of this? We are leaving. One of the bodyguards presses his earpiece, listening for instructions. Then, Jungkook's smooth yet deadly voice comes through. Jungkook. On bodyguard's earpiece, take them to the basement. Make sure they stay there for a while. Hannah freezes. Her blood runs cold. Hannah, screaming, Jungkook. You can't do this to me. She tries to run, but two bodyguards grab her arms. Her parents struggle, but it's useless. The bodyguards drag them back toward the mansion. Hannah's screams echo in the night. Jungkook stands in the center of the grand living room, watching the security footage on his phone. The screen shows Hannah and her parents struggling as the bodyguards drag them into the basement. Jungkook's jaw tightens. His expression is blank, almost bored, as if this is just another task to cross off his list. Then a soft, familiar voice breaks the silence. YN, from kitchen. Jungkook. Dinner is ready. Jungkook's grip on his phone loosens. With one last glance at his phone, he tucks it into his pocket and turns away from the screen. Jungkook. Smoothly, I'm coming, babe. His voice shifts from dark and commanding to warm and affectionate. Basement. Jungkook stands in the center, his back to the camera, staring at three figures tied to chairs, Mr. Lee, Mrs. Lee, and Hannah. Their faces are bruised, their clothes disheveled. They're gagged, their muffled whimpers barely audible. Jungkook slowly turns around, his face illuminated by the flickering light. His eyes burn with a mix of rage and sorrow. He holds a small knife in his hand, twirling it absent-mindedly. Jungkook. Voice low, menacing, you thought you could break her, because she is weak and no one would care. He steps closer to Mr. Lee, who flinches, his eyes wide with terror. Jungkook rips the gag off Mr. Lee's mouth. Mr. Lee, stammering, please, we didn't mean to, it was discipline. She needed. Jungkook slams his fist into the wall beside Lee's head, making him jump. The sound reverberates through the basement. Jungkook. Discipline. You call starvation discipline? Locking her in a closet for days. Beating her until she couldn't stand. He moves to Mrs. Lee, who's sobbing uncontrollably. He removes her gag, and she immediately starts pleading. Mrs. Lee, it was for her own good. She was ungrateful. We gave her a home. Jungkook grabs her chin, forcing her to look into his eyes. His grip is firm but not violent. Jungkook. Whispering, deadly calm, a home. You gave her a prison. You stripped her of everything, her smile, her trust, her hope. And you. He turns to Hannah, who glares at him defiantly despite her fear. He removes her gag, and she spits at his feet. Hannah. Sneering, what's it to you? She was weak. She deserved it. You think you're some kind of hero. Jungkook's sad-faced voice cold, I'm not a hero. I'm her vengeance. Every tear she shed, every scream you ignored, you'll feel it now. She is safe now and also in future she will be safe, but you guys, ha ha ha. He turns to his guards. You can enjoy them. Bye, have a great night.